What's going on, everybody? My name is Aiden and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today is a video that I often do twice a year. In this video is a video called Keep, Waive, or Trade. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to dissect this roster and I'm going to discuss whether I'd want to keep a player, trade a player. I'm talking about for the off-season because the trade deadline's over, of course. Or whether or not I want to waive a player. And that could be done during the regular season as well. We can waive anyone at any given time, I believe. And the buyout market is available to us if we do so. So, with that being said, let's take a look at the players that we have. Let's talk about whether or not it's the right move to keep, to waive, or to trade. This video might not come out the day that I record it. It might come out the next day because there's going to be a bit of editing that goes along with this one. So stay tuned and be on the lookout for whenever it releases. Before we get any further though, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to drop a like, follow, and or subscribe if you are new, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls and whether you would keep, waive, or trade these players, specific players, anyone that you like. We're always going to have different opinions, so don't bother trying to agree or disagree with me. Form your own opinion and let me know what you guys think. Maybe in some areas you'll agree, in some areas you may disagree. But I'm going to start off with a player that's not a player, it's the head coach. And I'm going to say we need to fire Billy Donovan. I've mentioned it for the past few videos, so I'm not going to mention it here again. But I just wanted to add that in there because at some point, I think he has to go. We're going to go, I guess, from the numbers perspective, the numbers on the jersey, we're going to go from highest to lowest. So the highest numbered jersey on the Chicago Bulls, I believe at this point in time, is Patrick Williams wearing the number 44. And ultimately with Patrick Williams, he signed a very big deal for the Bulls. I think it's $18 million a season for 4 to 5 years, something along those lines. And ultimately, he's found his way to the bench. So you can maybe genuinely ask the question, is he worth the money? 18 million is a lot of money for a guy of his stature. But at the end of the day, we are now not in a win now mentality. That's how I feel. With Patrick Williams still being as young as he is, there's always still an element of growth that can happen with a Patrick Williams. So I would be more on the verge of keeping him, but I'm in two minds. I could very well see him be put in the trade category, which a lot of people want to see him in, and that's completely fine to me as well. But I would say keep because of how young he is. Maybe there's room to grow with this team being as bad as it is. He might be the one to step up. Who really knows? But for at least until the end of the season, I would say let's keep Patrick Williams. Maybe trade him in the offseason. Who knows? We'll figure that out once the time comes. EJ Liddell, I believe a two-way contract player. I think he's injured if I'm not mistaken. We could keep EJ Liddell. Let's just move on quickly from that one. There's no reason to see him leave the Chicago Bulls at this point in time. With that being said, we got a new acquisition in Tre Jones wearing the number 30 for the Chicago Bulls. And Tre Jones, out of all the players that have played in that trade with Zach LaVine involved, I think he's impressed the most. His defensive intensity's been nice. He's had a couple of decent games. And he's had, I think, at least one game which was a disaster class, in all honesty. Tre Jones, I think out of everyone that has been traded to the Bulls, is someone I'm probably the most keen on at the moment. I like the idea of a Kevin Huerter, but at the end of the day, Kevin Huerter's just had a disaster season, even beyond the Chicago Bulls standards. And yeah, that excitement shortly depleted once I've seen him play with the Bulls, in all honesty. Nevertheless, I don't mean to be mean to that towards Kevin Huerter. We'll get to him eventually. I would like to keep Tre Jones, all things possible, just because a nice guard to have on the team and someone that can do a little bit of everything on the court, but is not going to really stun you with anything either. Dalen Terry, I said at the beginning of the season when it comes to Dalen Terry that this is kind of his last season to really prove himself that he could take the next step and be a really good development piece. I don't necessarily think he's stolen the show. I think he's had a couple of good games here and there when he's gotten the opportunities. He's definitely an energy type of guy, and you always need those type of guys on the team. But I think we're past the point of believing Dalen Terry is going to be a superstar, which no one really thought anyway. But I think we're also past the point that Dalen Terry is going to be a big, big contributor on the team as well. I mean, we'll see. There's still time. He's still young. Again, the beauty of having a young team is that someone can develop beyond what they're expected. And that could be what Dalen Terry is. So, look, it's very similar to the Patrick Williams mindset for me. I could be on the verge here of potentially seeing him, wanting him to get traded or keeping him around. But I will be leaning towards keeping Dalen Terry. Next up, Talen Horton Tucker. I would like to keep Taylor Horton-Tucker. Reason being, one, he is still young in his own right. I think he's 23, if I'm not mistaken. And when he has gotten consistent opportunities in this Bulls team, he has taken advantage of them. He had a good stretch where he was phenomenal on the scoring end, making big buckets, big time plays, and it almost felt like you couldn't drop him. You couldn't not play him. Unfortunately, the Bulls found a way to screw it up. Maybe it's Taylor Horton-Tucker that screwed it up. I don't know. But either way, I still think there's enough there for the Bulls to keep him around off the bench. Whether or not he's a consistent bench player or not, I think that's going to be up in the air. But when he does play, he tends to play well, so I'm on board with keeping him. And the same goes with Adama Sanogo, a player that I personally feel like doesn't get enough opportunities on this Bulls team, in all honesty. Someone that literally has an axe of grabbing rebounds. It reminds me of very similar to Andre Drummond in that sense. Obviously not as good as Andre Drummond, but still... someone that can catch a rebound like no tomorrow, very physical, has a nice sneaky little finish around the rim as well. He has a little bit of a magic touch around the rim that I don't think many people talk about because he is such a big bully on the inside that his physical presence alone is what stands out. But again, a nice piece. And when he's played well again. So it's like a lot of guys that have played well but don't get enough opportunities. I mean... Again, looking at the coaching staff here potentially. I mean, where are the opportunities going? They're going to other guys that may not deserve it as much. Next up, Emmanuel Miller. I'll be honest, I haven't really seen much of Emmanuel Miller. Even in the G League, I haven't really been paying attention to it. I don't know if he's injured or not. I don't know if he's played. But I'd keep him around just because I haven't really made a decision on him yet. I haven't made my mind up on him yet. So we'll move on, but I would keep him if we could. Julian Phillips. I mean... Again, another young guy that's in and out of the lineup, plays well at some points, doesn't play well at other points, highly athletic, is very good at the corner three. He has good attributes that can make him a very key bench player for the Chicago Bulls. I would keep him around, but again, we might be getting to the point with Julian Phillips like we have been with Dalen Terry and even Patrick Williams, where if you don't see much development in the future, there could be an opportunity to see the Bulls kind of maybe capitalize on the asset type of situation here. But we're not at that point, at least I'm not at that point with Julian Phillips. And I'm definitely not at that point with Matas Buzelis, number 14 for the Chicago Bulls. He was in the Rising Stars game. He was in the dunk contest, even if he stuck up the joint. He's had some good moments for the Chicago Bulls. Needs to be getting more minutes. Very clear I want to keep Matas Buzelis around. Again, for a team now that's going absolutely younger, the direction at this point should be focused on him. Maybe we could get someone better in this upcoming draft, but until that moment, this franchise now has to be pointed in his direction. I don't think we'll see that, but that's where it should go. And the Bulls always have a problem with developing young talent. It's because they don't necessarily rely on that young talent to take the next step. They're relying on veterans. It has been like that for ages. We'll see if that changes. Next up is Kevin Huerter, and I'll be honest, if we have an opportunity, I'd like to trade Kevin Huerter. Again, on paper, he's the type of player that could really, really impact a team. I don't think this is the right environment for him personally. Like I said, we're not in a winning situation. And I think in a winning situation, if you can get a guy like Kevin Huerter that is a lethal three-point shooter at his best, someone that could be an off-the-ball threat at his best, a contending team would want a guy like Kevin Huerter. Maybe not for $17 million, which he's probably going to accept. I think as a player option. He might accept that. But still... It's definitely a piece that a team might want to pursue. So if we get an opportunity, I think Kevin Huerter would be a good trade asset for the Bulls. We'll see. Maybe not. I honestly don't know. And Zach Collins is someone I'd like to trade as well. I think he's around 27, 28 years old. So he's not a youngster, if you know what I mean. But he's also not a widely veteran either. He's kind of in that in-between stage. He's in his prime. Again... He provides some good things. He's good. He's a good toughness guy. He provides rim protection. That's what he said himself. He'll provide rim protection for the Bulls. All in all, haven't really seen him much. Could be a chance for him to change my mind there because, again, it has been a limited amount of time. Same with all the other guys that got traded. But as of now, if we have the opportunity, I would not mind trading Zach Collins away. We'll have to wait and see whether or not that could be the case. Next up, Ayo Dosunmu. We can move on swiftly from this one. I would like to keep Ayo for the money that he's on, the contribution that he provides. I think it's a very easy choice to keep Ayo. And again, I could talk all day about how happy I am with Io. We got a video to make, so we'll move on. But easy choice, right? Easy choice as well, Nikola Vucevic. First chance we get, I'd like to trade Nikola Vucevic. Again, I feel very bad for him that he's even here. I think you could tell he doesn't want to be here right now. And I think it was the right choice to trade him. And we didn't do it. So basically, I'm saying we made the wrong choice. He should have been traded this trade deadline. I guess we have to wait for the off-season. I hope Vucevic can keep it professional, you know, maybe have some great games here and there. Just to not only keep his value at a good level, but also to realize, like, look, nothing's going to change now. So no point sucking up the joint. Just play your best and see what ends up happening. Because that would be the best way to go forward for both parties. But who knows? We'll wait and see. Jalen Smith at number 7, wearing the number 7 for the Bulls. I don't mind either way if we trade or keep Jalen Smith, to be honest. I like his contribution off the bench. Physical presence, grabs a rebound, can shoot a 3. It's had some good games and some bad games. I would be open to either thing, to be honest. But I'll say keep, just because he is relatively new. I think he fits the timeline that we're at. We'll see where things go in the future. Number 5, Javon Carter. Oh, this is going to hurt. I would like to waive Javon Carter. Now, you might be asking why. Well, look, the one thing I will admit that he can provide, he's played well this season when he has played. And he provides some veteran experience. Very similar to the Kevin Huerter situation, I just don't think Javon Carter suits this team. He very rarely gets any minutes. You could tell he's a good player because he played on the Bucks and he was a big impact guy on that team, even off the bench. Played well there. I think there's a team out there that would want a Javon Carter. And we have so many guards. I would personally like to give up some of that room to give minutes to guys like Trey Jones and to guys like Lonzo and Giddey and Kobe and Io and all the other guards that we have. We just have too many guards. So I'd like to open up that roster spot for potentially someone else. That's really the only reason why I'd want to waive Javon Carter. Other than that, if we keep him around, I'm not going to have an issue with that either. Josh Giddey, I would like to keep. Again, I mentioned it in the free agency video about him. We kept him for the purpose of being a long-term asset. That's what we did. So I think the Bulls should follow suit on that. Fight everybody off in restricted free agency and keep Josh Giddey for the long term and see where things go. There's no point talking about Lonzo Ball either because he recently got a contract extension. I don't want to trade him yet. We'll see what happens next season. But for now, I'm completely fine with Lonzo Ball staying. And last but not least, number 0, the person I'm rocking today, I don't know if you won't be able to see it, but I'm rocking the Kobe White jersey today. Again, I think right now, alongside with Bezelis, this should be Kobe White's team. Kobe White is our best player right now. That's how it should be. He was almost an all-star last season. He should be in a very similar situation now. So with all that being said, I'd like to keep Kobe White, but if he's going to stick up the joint for the Bulls in the near future, like, we're getting to the point with Kobe White where he is a tradable asset. And he's probably our best value for asset. So if he's not going to have that takeover type of atmosphere for the Bulls, if he's not going to be the guy that steps up and really shines in this dire situation, then I have to question if anybody's going to do that first and foremost. And then you'd have to question, okay, what can we get out of this? It's a genuine conversation. You can't rule it out now. Everything's on the table. But for now, I'm in the mindset of keeping Kobe White. Like I said, this video will not come out probably on the day. But still, keep in mind, it's going to be coming out in the next couple of days. So if something happens beyond the next 2 days, I apologize. But there you go. That's my video today. What do you guys think? Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care. And peace.